Do we get a nice handshake between the two of you?
Of course. Fist bump. Let's go.
Fabio Wardley versus Daniel Dubois for the WBO World Championship is one of the most anticipated heavyweight fights of 2026. And this fight is even harder to predict because of both fighters' styles and the way they like to approach their fights. So in this video, I am going to give you my prediction for this fight. But before we do that, we need to have a look at this fight from a stylistic point of view. And when we look at it, stylistically, both fighters have a lot of differences and they have a lot of similarities. So let's talk about their differences first and foremost. One thing that differs between Daniel Dubois and Fabio Wardley is the fact that Daniel Dubois is slightly the better boxer. Not very much, but slightly the better boxer. Daniel Dubois has a really good jab, arguably one of the best jabs in the heavyweight division right now. And Daniel Dubois' jab is not one that he pulls with. He doesn't look for range with. Daniel Dubois always looks to damage his opponent with the jab before he throws that right hand. So it's not a rangefinder, but one that is a ramrod, one that is in your face, one that makes his opponents, feel the weight of the jab, and then he throws that right hand behind that. And it's a really deadly combination. Dubois knows how to do that very well. Dubois also has a decent footwork. Not the best footwork in the division, but Dubois is very coordinated. He knows how to place his feet. He knows how to move around the ring. He knows how to get closer to the target in order to land a big right hand, because he's a puncher. He needs to plant his feet to be able to throw that right hand and have meaning behind that right hand. And Daniel Dubois over the years has learned how to do that very well, using that footwork, using that jab, getting in range and landing that big right hand. Fabio Wardley, on the other hand, is the opposite. And as I said, Daniel Dubois is slightly the better boxer. Fabio Wardley is very uncoordinated. And this is because Fabio Wardley does not have the best amateur background. He's coming from a white collar background, fighting in a different setting to Daniel Dubois, where Dubois has grown up at the age of 6, 8, 9, fighting and learning how to be a boxer. Fabio Wardley came to the sport late, so his ability and the opportunity to learn and develop his skills was not as much as Daniel Dubois. So Wardley is very uncoordinated. Wardley doesn't really use the jab the way he's meant to use it. He uses it to find range and then throws the right hand. Fabio Wardley's footwork is not the best, and because of that, he makes a lot of mistakes when he is not very close to the target. Sometimes because of that poor footwork and poor coordination, Fabio Wardley leaves himself open to get countered or to get hit with the right hand as well. So coordination is something that Fabio Wardley lacks in his ability to stay in range and to land a big shot. One thing also is that Fabio Wardley has heart. I said it in one of my other videos that Fabio Wardley has something that you cannot teach. What Fabio Wardley has is not something that you can teach in your gyms. Fabio Wardley has something that you're born with, something that you have it naturally, and that is heart, that is determination, that is the ability to stay in there even when you're getting outboxed, even when the chips are down, with the hope that he knows that he can land something big at any point in the fight and change the trajectory of the fight. And that is something that Fabio Wardley has over Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois, not that he has the worst heart in boxing. Dubois can dig deep. But the difference is that Daniel Dubois, when things are not going his way, he tries to find a way out of the fight. And we can see that in the Alexander Usyk fight when Dubois was not landing anything, when Usyk was frustrating Daniel Dubois, when Dubois looked like he wasn't having any success, then he found a way out. But then in other fights, like the Jerome Miller, like the Hergovich fight, Daniel Dubois shows heart because he was having success. He's able to land his own shot. Then Dubois stays in the fight. But Fabio Wardley, either he's having success or not having success. Fabio's always focused. He's always in the fight because he knows that at any point in that fight, he can change the way the fight is going. And those are the differences between both fighters. Now let's talk about the similarities between both fighters. Fabio Wardley is a powerful puncher. Daniel Dubois is a powerful puncher. Fabio Wardley's power is very quick and it's a snappy sort of shot that you get hit. It's like you've been hit with lightning. It's quick, you can feel it and you know that you've been hit. Daniel Dubois, on the other hand, has a thudding punch, which when you're hit with, you stay hit. And the effects of that punch lingers through the body during the whole fight. And we can see that when he landed that big right hand on Anthony Joshua in the first round, and he was able to stop Anthony Joshua in the fifth round, because that shot was a big shot which took a lot of energy out of Anthony Joshua. And you can see that Joshua was not the same until the fifth round, where Daniel Dubois landed the counter and put Anthony Joshua to sleep. So Daniel Dubois has a different power than Fabio Wardley. But the similarity is that they both have power to turn your lights out at every single moment in that fight. One thing that both fighters have in common is that they are both defensively reckless. Daniel Dubois has no regard to what is coming when he goes on the attack. And we saw that in the Usyk fight. Dubois got tagged, Dubois got countered, Dubois got picked off because he sees a target and all he thinks about is go and get that target and go and knock that target out. Dubois doesn't really think about what is coming back, and he leaves himself open for counters. He leaves himself open to be pinned down on the ropes and then to be landed shots on. Fabio Wardley is similar. Fabio Wardley is the same as Daniel Dubois. Fabio Wardley has really quick hands for a heavyweight. And what he does is, because he's got quick hands and he can throw good combinations, just like he landed on Fraser Clark in the second fight, Fabio Wardley leaves himself open. He's very defensively reckless. He's very open. He gives his opponents the opportunity to counter him. And that is because Fabio Wardley, as I've established before, doesn't have the best boxing ability. So he's going to make mistakes. So he's going to fall short. So he's going to give his opponents the opportunity to land something in between the shots that he throws. And one thing that I've realized is that when Fabio Wardley goes on the attack, his shots are very wide. So there are openings in the middle for his opponents to counter him, whether with a left hook or with the right hook, or even with a right hand down the pipe, because Fabio Wardley sometimes falls short when he goes in for the attack. So both fighters have similarity in terms of being defensively reckless and giving the opponents the opportunity to land big shots on them. One thing that both fighters have in common also is the fact that they both have killer instincts, something that you need in the heavyweight division to be a force, and both fighters have that. Now you could argue that Fabio Wardley has a better killer instinct, or he can smell blood easier than Daniel Dubois, but Daniel Dubois has shown that when he sees the target is hurt, or when he sees that he needs to close the fight, that he knows how to do that very well. Fabio Wardley, his ability to land something and close the fight can be any time in that fight. It doesn't matter whether it is round 1 or round 12, and he can finish the fight at any time because he's got that killer instinct. Daniel Dubois is a bit more methodical. As I mentioned, like to use the jab to soften his opponents out, and then Daniel Dubois goes on the attack and finishes his opponent off. So both fighters have a lot of similarities and a lot of differences, and that is what makes this fight very interesting, because at any moment in this fight, any one of these guys can get the knockout, or they can get knocked out in a devastating fashion. So now, my final prediction for this fight. I think Daniel Dubois will stop Fabio Wardley between round 7 and round 10. And the reason why I think that is because, as I said, both fighters make a lot of mistakes. Daniel Dubois' power is very thudding, and once you get hit, you can feel it throughout the whole fight. And Fabio Wardley gets busted up very easily. Fabio Wardley, although has the heart, I think he gets hurt pretty easily, and Fabio Wardley bleeds out of the nose, and I think Daniel Dubois is going to target this. And if Dubois' jab is able to open Fabio Wardley's nose, then Dubois knows that he can take advantage of the bleeding and get more shots in. And I think Fabio Wardley is going to be at a stage where he's been busted up, he's been hurt, because Dubois hits really hard and he's feeling the pace of the fight. And I think Fabio Wardley will get stopped somewhere between round 7 and round 10. However, this is not going to be an easy fight for Daniel Dubois, because I think at some point Daniel Dubois may have to climb off the canvas to win this fight, because Fabio Wardley is going to be very dangerous. He's going to be landing some quick, crisp right hands there. Daniel Dubois is not hard to find. Dubois is easy to hit. Although Fabio Wardley is also easy to hit, I think Daniel Dubois is going to give Fabio Wardley a lot of opportunities, given Fabio Wardley's hand speed. But I think Dubois, due to his power, due to the jab, due to the fact that, you know, Fabio Wardley gets hit quite easily as well as Dubois, but I think Dubois will take advantage of those opportunities better than Fabio would. And also, Dubois is just a slightly better boxer, so I think that will stand Dubois in good stead in this fight. So I am picking Daniel Dubois to stop Fabio Wardley between round 7 to round 10. And guys, I might regret this decision, but this is how I feel about this fight. So guys, get in the comment section and let me know what you think about this fight. What is your prediction? Who do you think wins this fight? And how do you think they win this fight? And what round do you pick them to win this fight? Get in the comment section and let me know.